Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page right here at Facebook. And this is where I do a daily live stream. Well, just about every day. We have a conversation, a spiritual conversation around the divination cards that I draw in the morning. And it's a good way to be able to share spiritual information, but more importantly for Star Nation's community to get together and share some time together. And that's one of the reasons why I look forward to these daily live streams. So welcome. It is Tuesday, January 15th, and I am broadcasting from Star Nation's Academy here in Tomah, Wisconsin. And it's a cloudy day. It's not the temperature is not too bad. We're in the 30s. And so for this time of year, that's actually kind of like balmy weather here in northwestern Wisconsin. I live about an hour east of the Mississippi. And we live on the edge of what's called the driftless region, meaning that the last three ice ages, the glaciers went around a certain area. And it covers part of Wisconsin, part of Minnesota and Iowa, and northern Illinois. Yeah. So it's kind of like our own little four corners up here in the North Midwest. Yeah. So I don't know why I told you that. Other than we have natural vortexes just like they do down in Sedona. Not many people know about that. There's vegetation that grows in some of the valleys, also known as coulees, that shouldn't be growing here. Yeah. So anyway, it's good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see. Hey, Tina's here. Hello, Tina. Good to have you in the chat with us. It's always good to see you there. And here's Julie. Hey, Julie. Good afternoon to you too. And we have. Before we get going too much further, what I'd like to do is to take just a moment and to like and share the broadcast before we start talking about the cards. And I know we're here somewhere. There we are. So I'm going to like it and I'm going to share. And I'm going to share it to my timeline, my newsfeed. There we go. And just to let my friends know that I'm live streaming. All right, now. Okay. That's George is with me. I don't know what he just did. I don't know if he hiccuped or what, but and then to please join. There we go. We're going to post that. And I don't know if Tina's going to be able to help today. She is Tina. I'm sorry about that. I meant Stephanie Williams. Stephanie is our social media manager here at Star Nations, and she is taking care of family items. And so what I'm going to do is share the live stream over to a couple of the closed groups that we have. So I'm just going to let them know that we're live streaming. Oops. I'm live streaming right now. And we'll ask them to please join. There we go. And we're going to do, I think, definitely the radio network and the academy. There we go. There. And I think that's done. There. It doesn't take too long. I just wanted to make sure that we do that. There. Now, today, Tuesday, I call it Terrific Tuesday here at Star Nations for a couple of reasons. One is that Tuesday we usually have more than just a couple of shows on that particular day of the week. And so when we have multiple shows on, it just feels like that we spend the day with you, right? And so it's kind of good stuff. And and one of my sisters is going to be stopping by this afternoon, so she's letting me know when she's late. She just left down near Madison. So it's going to be exciting to see her. And so we have Tuesday, which is one of our busiest days here on Star Nations. And actually, this week is one of our busiest weeks in the month. We have Tuesday, we have 3 shows today, and tomorrow we have 3 shows tomorrow as well. And so it makes life kind of interesting trying to fit everything in. And this morning, how many people have ever had to wait for the charter cable people to show up, right? It's kind of a running joke, isn't it? Although they were right on time, they knew exactly when they were going to be between 10 and 11, and he was actually there a couple minutes early. And but he was at my house for almost 2 hours, and I was without internet for most of that time. Oh my goodness, I wasn't expecting that. And so it made me realize how much I am involved with my internet on a daily basis, because I would say about 90% of the work that I do is through the internet. And so this morning I had almost 2 hours off that I wasn't anticipating. So what did I get done without the internet? I was reading Carl Franklin's book. I was doing some laundry, and I was going to go out and play with George, but we also had the house cleaner in the house and the cable guy, and it was just kind of busy. It's just one of those mornings. And so I missed Polly Joe's show. I'm going to have to watch the recorded show for her, because she talked about, was it multi-dimensional aura, and I wanted to be there for that one. And I know, hey, Andrea's here too. So I know the ladies that are in the chat right now, you guys were probably in Polly Joe's chat too, weren't you? How was it? How did you find the information that she shared? Because I had talked to her yesterday and also earlier today, and so she was saying that it's kind of deep information to get into, and to be mostly verbal about it, and not having any kind of illustrations or pictures to go with it, right? To help those who that's their best way to learn, right? Yeah, but oh my gosh, Mervin's with us. Hi, Mervin. It's good to see you in the chat. Glad you're here. We're just chatting about Polly Joe's show that was earlier today. I missed it. I wanted to. I really wanted to be there. Interesting information. Oh, I can't wait. But the next time I have a chance to really sit down and focus on it and to listen to it will be maybe Thursday. I'm just thinking of my calendar. Possibly Thursday, but most definitely Friday. I will have time to sit down and listen to it. And Andrea saying, "Oh, I missed it. Do you have the link?" Yeah, I can put it into the comment section after we're done with the live stream. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. So, in fact, I've got a couple of shows I need to watch because I missed the live version of it. I've been meaning to watch Kyle Gray's Monday morning, I guess, at 11 o'clock Eastern time, I believe it is, his show, which I've only caught bits and pieces of in the past. And so I wanted to do that too. Yeah. I can listen to them if I'm doing something that I don't have to, have a lot of attention. I can split my attention a little bit. So, all right, let's get to the cards. The card draw this morning, I did actually quite early because I knew that we were going to have, Susie, my house cleaner, was coming in, and also the cable tech guy, and so I drew the cards quite early. It was probably, I don't know, 6:15 or so this morning. Yeah. So The first card that came is Arrow. And we've had this card before, Arrow. And whenever I see this card, I think that it would make a really cool, like if you frost a glass door or something, it'd make a really nice etching. Arrow. Yeah. It says, surround yourself with protective energy. Surround yourself with protected energy. Now, every morning when I do the card draw, the intention for the card draw is information that's about the energy that's flowing, that's important for us to know about today for our highest good and the highest good of all, and that we're able to share with others, right? So it's not an individual card read, it is, or information. It's really more for the energy that's flowing through the universe today, and how would it be helpful to us to know about it, right? What's important about it. Hey, Violet's here too. Hey, Violet. And put your name up here. There we go. Yeah, Violet's here. It's good to have you in the house, Violet. And so this is the first card. Now, in its simplicity, it kind of reminds me of the medicine wheel, because it's the sacred hoop, right? It's circular, and it has the 4 directions depicted on it. It doesn't have the crosswinds, but it has the 4 directions. I kind of like that. It's pretty simple, though. Pretty simple in design. Let's see what Kyle has to say about this. When we're talking about surrounding yourself with protective energy, yes, there is, our spiritual team can help us with that. When we do our grounding, we should be doing our protection as well, because the protection, depending on what kind you use, could last only 12 hours, about 12 hours, they say, depending on what you ingest. And so in the card reads that we've been doing through this deck, the Angels and Ancestors deck, there's something that has come up, information that's really, there was one piece of new information that a different perspective of looking at it. And that is our boundaries, because our boundaries are a part of our protection, okay? And the boundaries, they are much more powerful, potent, when they're created from a place of love rather than a place of fear, okay? And so the reason why we put up boundaries, right? When we can actually establish that boundary from our hearts rather than our ego or our mental mind only, right? Yeah. And so the protection is pretty much the same. When you ask your spiritual team to come in to form that protective circle around you, right? And asking them to only allow in energies that's meant for your highest good, which means that sometimes we have certain energies that come in that we might say are negative or lower vibration, and you're thinking, what happened to my protection? How did that get through? Well, if you stated it as if it's for your highest good, so there's something that you have to look at with that energy that came through, right? So when we establish our protection field, is to do it from a place of love, because love is one of the highest vibrations in the universe. And so you want it to have a high vibration, a high frequency, I should say, rather than coming from a lower vibration intention, which would be based in fear. Does that make sense? Because, the first time I heard it, I thought, that makes so much sense. And actually, you're asking your spiritual team to hold that protection for you so that you're not using your own energy to keep the protection in place. They're actually doing it for you. Um, and that frees up your energy to do other things like using your gifts, being creative, that sort of thing. Um, yeah. Mervyn is saying, then we get what we need, not necessarily what we want. Exactly. Exactly. Because it's in that want that sometimes we end up, because we live in a school of polarity, Earth. Grandmother Earth is, on the surface, she is a school of polarity for us. And you're right, Mervyn, is that when we create from our heart, we get what we need. When we create only from our mind, we get what we want. And sometimes what happens is you get the opposite that comes with it. So if you're, I don't know, if you're looking to have more money in your life, you're going to get the money, but you might get the opposite effect of it as well, which is it could be almost anything. It could be if you got a bonus at work, that here in the States anyway, that you're going to get taxed on that bonus, and generally it's almost 50% that they're going to take. So you have to give up half of it. And the other, and so you always have the opposite effect when you create only from your mind. And so when you're creating your protective field only from your mind, what you're doing is you're using most of your personal energy to keep it in place. And also you have, now this has just been my experience, you have more two-leggeds, other humans, testing your boundaries, testing your protective field. Yeah, because what they sense is it was established by your ego, right? And so, yeah, and so it's almost like I'm trying to find a good way to a metaphor. They're attracted to it because it's a challenge. It's a challenge. And not all two-legged, only some. Only some. And you might, describe them as those people who really like drama. And so, it's almost like catnip to them because they're going to try really hard to break through. Yeah. That's only if it's up, but created through your mind, through your ego, through your mental thoughts. When you're creating from your heart or from your high heart, which is the balance between the mind and the emotions, it's a much stronger field, and you don't get as challenged as much because what they're sensing is that unified field. They're sensing that higher frequency of love. Yeah, and so. Yeah, totally right. I think, Mervyn, for what you say is then we get what we need, not what we necessarily want. Yeah. Because that kind of reminds me of something. Do you remember when we were kids, and some of us, um, I think it was a Sears catalog that always had, every year they had the Christmas edition. And so it would come in the mail, right? It'd come in the mail. And the catalogs would come in the mail too, those really thick ones. But the Christmas catalog would come in, right? And yeah, having 4 brothers and 3 that were, closer in age to me, we would have to take turns to go through it. We couldn't, sitting down and looking through it together never worked. We were always fighting over it. And so mom would do, okay, you get it for this amount of time today and tomorrow you get it and that kind of thing. But when you're going through the Christmas catalog, you're looking for things that you wanted, not necessarily what you needed. What we needed was probably socks and, underwear and t-shirts and, what we needed. We didn't want for Christmas. So it's kind of like that. I think that's a decent metaphor for that. So here's what Kyle has to say about the arrow. Surround yourself with protective energy. The message is surround yourself with positive people and experiences and environments that make you feel safe. Call on your angels, guides, and ancestors to bring you protection. So Kyle is equating protection with a certain vibration and people that would vibrate at that rate. So someone who you feel safe with, right? Someone that you feel is a positive support. And so we start surrounding ourselves with people who we like to spend time with and, share information with. That's what I do. Surround yourself with positive people and experiences and environments. So you want to be someplace where you're safe, where you feel safe, and have those people around you. That's part of your protective field. Now, saying you can't go wrong with socks. The wilder and crazier, the better. Exactly. The stuff that our parents would get us, I don't come from a lot of money. My parents, was check to check and sometimes even less than that growing up. And when I was a kid, I didn't realize that we were even poor, I didn't realize it because we always had food. We always had a roof over our heads. We always had electricity. We always had heat. The things that we needed were provided for. And sometimes it was difficult for my parents to do it, but we always had it. What we didn't have were the things that we wanted, the new bikes. I remember there was a time, I think it was, I don't know, maybe 5th or 6th grade or something like that. It was this big thing with your 3-ring binders to have this, it was more of a fabric covering on it rather than plastic, and all the cool kids had them. Well, I liked the design and the texture of them. And I wanted one, and they were expensive. And the next thing I knew, I had one. And it's like, how did that happen? Well, what my mom did is that she took some of the remnants of her fabrics, and she took Elmer's glue, and she cut this pattern out, and she put it on my 3-ring binder. I couldn't tell that it wasn't store-bought. I thought she went out and bought me one. She goes, no, I didn't do that. This is what I did. And it was as a surprise, So I didn't need it, but I wanted it. And she did come up with it for me. Kind of strange. It's an old memory I haven't thought about in a long time. Kyle goes on to say that arrows have long been revered as symbols of protection, as many native peoples would use the bow and arrow as a weapon of defense. When an arrow appears in meditations or dreams or an oracle reading, it's a sign you need to protect yourself and what's important to you, because not everyone has the same intentions as you do. Yeah. And so he's basically kind of equating that if there's another person, another two-legged who may not be intentionally try to harm you, okay? But in their actions and in their decision making, may actually end up hurting you and hurting others by their decision, because not everybody is going to be on the same page as you, right? Yeah. So you may end up having an effect, be affected by their decisions or by their actions. And so that's what he's talking about here, is that your protective field is, it goes well beyond somebody who's trying to physically hurt you or emotionally hurt you directly. It's also the collateral damage kind of protection. That's a different one, huh? To use collateral damage in that way. But, you know, for instance, trying to think of an example. For instance, if okay, so here's one that's pretty close to what happened recently, is that you're working in a place and it gets broken into, right? And you don't know it's broken into. You're working. They're broken into a part of the building that you're not in, and this person has stolen some equipment, and you don't even know that it was done. It's not directly affecting you. You weren't hurt in any way, but the building that you're in, you thought it was a safe place to be, and it's not. Okay, and you don't really know that until you go use some of the equipment that was stolen, and now you can't do a part of your work. So you didn't even know this person was in the building stealing stuff, and it didn't hurt you. You didn't know anything about it. But in the end result is that because of the stuff they took, you can't do your job now. And so now you have to wait for the replacements to arrive, right? And so what happens, your productivity is down, and especially if you get paid by the rate, they just messed with your income, and you didn't even know anything about it. It's kind of like that. And so when you set up your protective field, you also want to include those people who are around you, right? Yeah. It's kind of a far stretch, isn't it? I could have come up with a better example. That's the only one that popped in my head, though. So there must be a reason why my team wanted me to use that one. Yeah. So you might not even know about it, and you're a part of that collateral damage that affects you. Yeah. And so when you set up I was just sharing this with somebody. They were asking me about protection and boundaries and that sort of thing in the Merkaba. And I was trying to explain to them that with your Merkaba, you can program your Merkaba to be that protective field. There's a very divine feminine way of establishing a protective field. And it's a statement, your intention is to be protected under all conditions. So it covers a whole lot of things that you might not even been aware of. Now, the more linear or more sacred masculine way of establishing a field and being very intentional and very delineating, point by point, what you want that protective field to do for you. So in our mental mind, we think we covered everything, but chances are that there's something that you don't even know about that you can't cover because you didn't know about it. Right? So when you use a more divine feminine way of putting it is to protect me under all conditions. So you don't have to be extremely specific. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Andrea. She goes, that's a great analogy. Thanks. That's the one that they were showing me. So it's like, okay, but it's true. There's some things that we don't even know about that affect us. Yeah. And we may never know about it. We may never know about it because we don't know where it came from. That's something to think about, huh? All right, so he goes on to say that this does not mean that people are intentionally wanting to hurt you, but they could be careless in their choices and actions, and this could affect you. There are energies around you that could lower your vibration, and that's important you become aware of them and aren't brought down by them. Yeah. So, when he's adding the experiences in your environment and the people within the environment, many times we have free will and we can choose who we're going to hang out with, right? We can choose that most of the time. There are times when we would prefer not to be in a space with certain people, but sometimes you can't help with that either. Like if they're family members and there's, whether it's a holiday or maybe it's some sort of event, whether it's a graduation or a funeral or a wedding, that you may end up in the same place as them. Right? And so that is where the healthy boundaries that are created from a loving place really is helpful. Where the protective energy that you have around you comes in very helpful. Because that means that you can be in their presence and not be affected in a negative way by them. Unless, here's the caveat, unless it's a life lesson that energy is supposed to come through. Because we're still here on this planet, which is a planet of polarity, and we're still human. And so there's certain aspects that we can't avoid because it's a part of our soul growth. Yeah. Protection. He goes on to say that if you're in a situation where you feel that not everything is clear as it seems, trust your intuition. There are energies in your current situation that aren't fully aligned with your intentions and goals, or with kindness. Follow your intuition about whom to trust and what to trust. Now that's a mouthful. Who to trust and what to trust. How you're doing your own discerning, right? And we talked about this the other day, about discerning, that we're really allowing our soul to lead us in that discernment. The discerning, our soul is actually doing the discerning. It's up to us and our consciousness to hear it and to actually do it, right? And that is that trusting your intuition, because that's how the information is going to come through from your soul, is through your intuition. Yeah. That even means that if you don't trust your intuition, it's trying to get through. It's trying to get through. So he's saying that in any event, this is a time to call on the energy of protection and place yourself in a space that feels safe. A space that feels safe in all your bodies. Your physical, your mental, your spiritual, and your emotional. That's what he's talking about with this card, Arrow. It's about defense. I have to tell you, it's a very simple way to do this. And that is to have your frequency at the frequency of love as much as you possibly can. To hold that frequency of love for longer and longer periods of time. That makes this whole thing so simple. So simple. Because you still need healthy boundaries. You still need your protection field up. But you're not using your personal energy for it. Because of the frequency of love, lower vibrational energies aren't going to be hanging around it. They're just not. And one of the side effects to that is that you'll have people in your life that are no longer there. They drop away. They drop away. And that's a natural occurrence that has very little to do with you, other than you're the one that's holding that frequency of love. Because like vibrations meet like vibrations, right? And when they're not like vibrations, they miss each other. They're not in the same space. They miss each other. Mm-hmm. Julie Hedges is here. I'm just on time. Hi, Julie. It's good to have you here. It's good to see you in the chat. I love it when you show up. Hey, did you see that post that Facebook did for us? They put it together. I think it was over 80 times, or was it 30? I can't remember. But they put that up about you and Polly Joe and I. Yeah. So that was interesting. If you didn't, it's on my timeline. You can go check it out. Okay. All right. So that was the first card. Here's the second card. Now, we love this card. The first time I pulled this card, I tell you what, the people in the live chat, you guys just love this card. This is She-Wolf. She-Wolf. And it says, unleash the wild within. Unleash the wild within. And this card, I mean, her headdress is of a wolf. Howling at the moon. And the feathers that she's wearing on that headpiece, I can identify turkey for sure. I'm not sure about the other two. Could be owl in one of them. Yeah. I like this one too. I do. Unleash the wild within. Unleash the wild within. Oh my gosh, Minnie's here too. Hey, Minnie. My sister, Minnie. Yeah, good stuff. I love it when you guys come and join the live chat. And so the she-wolf, unleash the wild within. And so many times we hide or shield ourselves. We put that other mask on, the other facade. And very few people get to see or experience this side of us. Because we all have one. We all have a wild side. And it's those people who are closest to us that we trust, right? Talk about surrounding yourself with people that are positive and that you trust. And it's those people in those environments that we get to be this part of us, the wild side. Friends that you howl at the moon with. What you doing here, Mervyn? Mervyn is sharing something with us. It's the Black Sheep Stickers, the UK guest artist 58. She-Wolf. Oh, hey, that is so cool. Thank you, Mervyn. We'll have to take a look at that and see what it is. It's a car sticker, huh? Check it out. Link to it. Yeah, cool. Excellent. I'm going to check it out. She-Wolf. Yeah, we don't have, we have those, that our inner circle of people, right? That we know they love us no matter what, even when we're not at our best. Um, and they're the ones that we share our thoughts with, our heart with, and they support us, right? And we support them. It's a reciprocal relationship, and they're the ones that we can unleash our wild side with. Yeah. All right. So here's what Kyle has to say. How he describes it. The message is: let your wild side up and out. Unleash your talents and your desires. The she-wolf is a powerful shamanic soul who is half wolf and half woman. She's the alpha female who is not afraid to stand out from a crowd, or, in this case, from the pack. She's wild, unfiltered, and unfettered. Unfiltered and unfettered. Okay, so there's so many of us that I believe that would like to experience that, right? Even just for a while, to experience it. What would it be like for me to be unfettered and unfiltered? Kind of interesting, especially when you're a triple Sagittarius, and you spend a good portion of your adult life learning how to express yourself, so that you're not taking somebody out at the knees, because you're blunt and you have all this fire. Oh, we're saying, look at the Alfednar of Norse mythology. Okay, and I wonder, how do you pronounce that? Alfednar, Alfenard, Alfednar, Ylfenard. There's a couple of different ways we can say that, and I bet I'm not even close. Okay, we gotta let that go. There we go. And so Kyle goes on to say that she encourages you not to be trapped by the limiting factors of the weaker members of your pack, or those who are trying to hunt you down because you have gifts that they don't like or understand. She represents the energy of the wildness and the unknown, and encourages you to be free and unchained and go beyond boundaries. Release the animal energy within and track down what you need to do to express your true self. So here's a question. Those in the live chat, have you ever expressed your true self? Have you ever expressed your true self? That's a big question. Andrea's saying, lately, been dancing around the house to old rock music played loud while outside at my age. I like that. I do. Yeah, and I dance around my house too. I do. When I say I'm happy dancing, I'm literally saying I'm happy dancing. Yeah. So, have you ever truly expressed? No, have you ever expressed your true self? That's what I asked. Have you ever expressed your true self? Unfiltered. Yay for Tina. She says, yes, I have. Yay. Yay. And to be quite honest, I would have to say I haven't. Because of why I shared is because of that triple fire. Is that I'm very aware of it, right? And so I wouldn't say that it's been unfiltered. It has been filtered. There's been maybe once or twice I came really close, really close to it. Yeah. Now in my 20s, I was probably a lot closer to it. My mom used to tell me this, and it was not, it wasn't a compliment. She used to always tell me, you really don't give a damn what anybody thinks or says about you, and you need to take some of that in. It's like, but why? Yeah, I didn't get it back then, and to some extent, it's also a generational thing, right? Yeah, and when in my 20s, I really didn't give a damn about it. I didn't. Um, they'll get over it. They'll work through it. Julie's saying, not my deep down true self. I filter myself quite a bit. Yeah. And I wonder too, Julie, I wonder if that is also a part of our generation too, right? Because, our generation, I think, is kind of like in between. We're in between. We're at the very, very end of the I lost the name. Rats. The baby boomers. We're at the very end of it, of that generation. And we're not quite a part of the next generation of that, right? And so we were kind of in between. And so we grew up in the 60s, right? And in the 70s was our teenage years. And so we still had that part where, you had to be a good girl or a good boy, right? And there were certain conventions, society conventions that you really didn't, they didn't want you to cross. And so we kind of missed we were a little bit too young for that big movement coming through, the Vietnam War kind of era, right? And so we were kind of on the edge of that. So I think that's why we filter ourselves the way that we do, right? That's my guess anyway. And she says, yes, it is generational. I think so. I do. And Julie Hedges is saying, honestly, I compartmentalize my life. There are two parts for work, family, soul work, and me. Even my closest people only see at most 70%. So nope. Yeah, I get that, Julie. I do. I understand that. Yeah. And what would it be like? What would it be like if we were able to experience that unfiltered, that unfettered? What would it be like? Yeah. For me, because, I'm also a very optimistic person. Yeah, I'm very optimistic. So in my mind, I'm going to the positive side of this, and having a great deal of fun. And yeah, I'm not exactly going to the tell them what you really think, right? I'm not going in that direction. Oh my gosh. And Julie Shumway Hill is also saying, be seen and not heard attitude. Oh yeah, that one too. Yep. And Mervyn is saying, not really revealing our entire true selves also protects us. Yeah, I think it protects us from whom though? From somebody that we think is going to hurt us or mistreat us, but who are we really protecting with that? Are we protecting them from us? Oh my gosh, that makes me laugh. Because I think that could be true in a few circumstances. I don't know. Maybe Mervyn, if you can, expand that just a little bit and let us know about not revealing our entire true selves also protects us. Because that kind of reminds me of something that my parents used to say to us. This was their idea of us, their children, handling racism. Okay, because nobody ever teaches you how to do that. No, you have to try to figure it out on your own. Um, is that they said, well, number one, never let them see you cry, because then they know what your weakness is, right? And you never let them see your a range of emotions. Never show them you're really, really angry, and never show them you're really, really happy, because then they have an idea of what motivates you, or how they can use it to push you in one direction or another. And so you never show them that part of you. And so that kind of reminds me of that, what you said, Mervyn, is that they don't really reveal everything so that you're protected. Because that way they can never hurt you, because they don't really know, what makes you really happy, or what makes you really sad, or what makes you really angry. And Julie Hedges is saying, my soul work is true, all in. But me is locked down tightly. Yeah. Yeah, and I also wonder, when we do that, because I think we all do that to some extent, is that what part are we missing out on? What experiences are we missing out on that is meant for our soul growth? And it almost feels like split personality, multiple personality, sort of. That we're this way with this group, and we're that way with that group. And then when we're not with either group, that here we are on our own, and which nobody gets to see because we're by ourselves. So that's what it kind of reminds me of. It feels that way anyway. Yeah, because most people, because I'm really an extrovert, right? But there's times when I'm home, I am much more quiet. When Paul and I first got together, he kept asking me, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong? It's like, nothing's wrong. Yeah, but you're so quiet. This is me recharging, that I have to go someplace, and I do. Periodically, on a regular basis, I need quiet time. And I remember when I worked for the state, I was doing a lot of traveling, and we were with the same people from all over the United States, right? We'd meet and have meetings, and we got to know each other fairly well. And I remember coming out of one meeting, and they were talking about where we were going to go for supper and blah, blah, blah. And I looked at them and I said, I like you guys a lot, but I'm really getting tired of seeing your faces. I need some alone time. I'm going to go up to my room and for a couple hours and just be by myself, and I'm going to put the do not disturb sign on the door, and please don't do that. And sure enough, 2 hours later, knock, 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 we're going to supper. You coming with us? And it's like, but I needed it. I needed that time on my own to be quiet and to do whatever I wanted to do, right? And not have to be a certain way, because these were federal people and tribal people. And I was kind of in between them. So, let's see. Go down just a little bit. Oh, and Julie Hedges is also saying unfiltered and unfettered. That would be nearest to insanity. Many already think I'm crazy, and those people see maybe 30% of me. Well, now I want to see it though, Julie. Now I want to experience it. Now that you put it that way. Andrea is saying, when I was young, I was not allowed to step into my power. Still hard sometimes. I know what totally understand that. I really do. And it wasn't so much that my parents stopped me as much as it was they were trying to protect me, or at least that's what they thought. Yeah. Um, yeah. And Julie is saying, this is a deeply soulful talk. I'm so moved. I'm so glad to. This is a spiritual conversation. This is what I love about the afternoons. Never show them, yes. Very Scorpio, like my Scorpio moon. What people know can be used against. Yes. Yep. And that, I think, okay, Julie, this is, when you said that, this is why these two cards came together. This was the first message, arrow. And it was talking about surrounding yourself with people that are positive, people that you feel safe with, safe environments, right? And that, I think that's why these two cards came together. Is because when we feel safe, we can be this real us, the real person, the real being in all our fullness. And we do have some choices in how we get to this place, right? So that we can really be in our fullness to express their true selves. And wouldn't you agree that as we're here in this school of polarity and this master's or this PhD program that we're in our lives here on Grandmother Earth, that it could be one of the things that we're working toward is the expression of our true selves, no matter where we're at, because we feel safe. And what we've done our own healing, our own inner work, so that we can make those choices on where we're going to be, so that we can be all, as you said, all in. That we're that way across the board. I know that sounds like a really large stretch, but I think that could be true. And it's a possibility that we could actually do that. Andrea saying, okay, we got that one. Sorry. I got to scroll up. All right. Okay, here we go. And Tina's saying, it's like saying, I am what I am. I say what I want to say. I be true to myself and you. Oh, I like that, Tina. I do. I like that. I don't know. Kind of reminded me of Popeye in a way. The old cartoon. I am what I am. Yeah. Okay. And hi, Laura from Minnesota. So good to have you here. I'm glad you joined us. We're at the top of the hour, too. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Oh, I got to go up. There we go. Hey, Bobby, listening and just taking it in today. Love the spirituality. I love this conversation. I love it. And Laura is saying, you all are giving me the chills and I want to cry. Oh, hopefully it's okay. Good to express. It's good to express. And Julie Shamway Hill says, my son is in Scorpio, so I don't show my true self easily. Ah. Got a lot of Scorpios in the house today. Very interesting. And I can understand, why that would be, that would feel uneasy, uncomfortable to do that. And Tina's saying, hearing something that hits your very soul and true, Laura Malcolm. Absolutely. Thank you for saying that, Tina. Thank you. All right, I think I got through all of the comments. So, the she-wolf. Kyle says that if you've been holding back on your hopes or dreams, you're being encouraged to chase after them now. Let the wolf energy within help you track down what direction you want to go in, and don't let any traps or hunters get in the way of your freedom or your growth. The life you want is here. The life you want is here. So that I do believe that's the reason why these two cards came together, because we can have the kind of life where we are our true selves much more often than what we currently do. And that we have the choice to be able to do that. No matter what our astrology is, that there's an aspect that we can be comfortable with, no matter what our astrology is, no matter what our numerology is. And I think that comes with mastery. That's why we're here, is with that soul growth, is to master our gifts. And we were given exactly what we need to be able to do that. It's our mental mind and our egoic self that we have to balance out, right? Yeah, all those mental and emotional traumas to heal so that we can work toward that and be that, as Tina says, to be that. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys so much for being with me today and having this conversation. I loved it. I don't know about you guys, but I loved it. And Andrea's saying, great talk today. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, and thank you, Julie Hedges. I'm so glad you could make it here. All right, so a couple minutes after, but I wanted to say that anything that resonated with you today with our conversation and the information that was shared is to please embrace it and notice how the energy unfolds for you today and where this information is helpful. Okay. And if it didn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. It's okay. It just wasn't meant for you today. There's always tomorrow, and tomorrow's card draw, right? And we got another show today coming up. It's my weekly show called Communications from Home. It's on at 8 p.m. Eastern, and my guest is Maureen Mann. Maureen is one of our newest live stream show hosts and contributing writer to the magazine. And so if you don't know Maureen, tonight would be a good night to meet her and get to know her and see if there's something that you would like to, the reason to watch her show or to read her articles, right? What she has to offer. She's all about angels, so we'll hear about her connection to the angels and what she's going to bringing through her show and her articles. And she is also is very knowledgeable about mindfulness. And so we're going to hear a bit about that as well. So join me 8 p.m. Eastern right here, Star Nation's main fan page, and meet Maureen. And the name of her show that's going to be starting on January 24th at 4 p.m. is Angel Therapy with Maureen Mann. Okay, so that's tonight, my show, Communications from Home, 8 p.m. Tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern is Nature Adventures with my sister, Minnie Kansman, who's in the house today in the live chat, and me, Nature Adventures. We're going to be talking about the element of Earth and January, where we're at right now on the medicine wheel. And so join us for that. It's going to be another very spiritual conversation, I think. And so that's 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow afternoon. And then tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern is Soul Connections with Polly Jo LeBay. And that is an evening of divine healing and messages. We get to do our own healing work and through guided meditation. And after that, she'll do individual card draws for anybody who would like to have a card. She'll draw a card for you live. Okay. All right. Now, and Thursday, before I forget, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time at the Star Nations Academy closed group is a free mini class, and Polly Jo is coming back to join us. She's going to be talking about our chakra system and being an empath, because we have many people who've been asking about just finding out that they have an empathic gift, and now what do I do? What am I supposed to do with this? And so some of them aren't even seeing it as a gift yet, right? We know what that's like. Those of us that are empaths, we know what that's like. So join us there, okay? All right. So enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow for the daily live stream and the card draw at 3 p.m. Eastern, okay? We'll see you later. Ba Mina, until we see each other again. Love you guys.